Like, thank you. I'm also from going to depression.
Rocking and rolling. Let's get life together. Welcome back to Untraveled Ties. I'm Lindsey.
And I'm DeAndre.
And we are just unraveling life today. It is storming where I'm at, so sorry, but not sorry. I'm happy because it's breaking this heat. Is it storming?
That's freaking. Is it what?
Storming over there for you?
No, it's kind of just like cloudy. Like,
it's
if it hits you, it'll probably hit here next, but it's not too bad here.
It's thundering and lightning and all the things here. So sorry for that background noise on my end. This is our 4th episode. We had mentioned in the previous episode that we would be together.
Did not
happen. But
I'm so sorry, but I'm like looking at myself and my teeth are white as hell. Sorry. Having a moment.
You look amazing, okay?
I appreciate it.
You always do. Listen, this man got here on Zoom and he was like looking all great. I was like, what? Thanks, D. Thanks.
Gotta look good to feel good, I guess, some days.
100%. I got my Be Kind shirt because I was like, I need to feel better about life.
Yeah, be kind to yourself because today was a tough day.
do we want to do it? Damn, I don't think we do.
We don't, but
no.
Emotions suck, y'all. That's all I can say.
That's okay. So this goes along the line with Unraveled. So we both we love this podcast. I think the last few episodes have been really great. Do you disagree or agree?
No, I agree. Like we ended up having like a mishap on the first one. We recorded one which didn't have any sound. And like I remember you like calling me and you were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," but I was like, "No," because it kind of gave me an insight because I've never done this before. So after feeling confident of doing kind of like a free run, I was like, "Okay, well now gives me another reason to kind of know what I'm looking for." You know what I mean? Like
totally.
So I liked it, and I think that they've been going very well. And I think at the end of each of the episode, we're unraveling a lot of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
It's so fun too. I think the thing is too, we show up every day, and sometimes we have a plan. We have kind of this formula, a basic one,
right.
Continuing to
and we're getting better,
yep.
Right?
And I think that's the thing. Like nothing is perfect. I kind of was telling you before we got on here to record.
I think my stove's on. Hold on.
Let's not burn down the house. We've only done this 4 times.
No, tell me why I did that the other day. Like I went to go pick my friend up for work, and I was gonna make me tea, and literally got all the way there and back. And thank God I got back when I did, and didn't dick around or something like that because the thing all the water evaporated in the pan. The pan was damn near about to burn. I was like, oh my God, I almost killed everybody in the house.
I was just gonna say, DeAndre, you had one job.
I know.
Adulting is crazy because so much of it, yes, our parents kind of did some stuff. We did a lot. But, we forget how, important those little... Not that we... Hey, listen, we're very intelligent people.
No, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I got a lot going on. I'll be forgetting shit.
But, sometimes we be thinking too much about stuff that we're
right.
Shoot. Sometimes there's the other day we're I left the stove on, or not the stove, oven on. And, I already cooked and did everything and made a whole meal. I left the stove on. I didn't get mad, but I was the what ifs came into mind, right? So I was hey, we're never doing that again. Now we learn.
It's okay. 90% of the time, I literally, after I get done cooking on the stove, I literally leave the stove on. Not intentionally. I just...
Oh, yeah.
I get my food out, and I literally go into eating mode.
First of all, it's a new month. We're already 4 episodes.
It's what?
It's a new month.
Oh, yes.
We're already 4 episodes, and by the time this airs, it's going to be the middle of the month. We might be airing this a lot sooner than I've said because I haven't told you this yet, but we're probably going to launch it so we can get more engagement.
Right.
Kind of how things go, but it's crazy to think we're already almost done with the year.
I know.
Holy.
And it's crazy because we're almost done with the year, but we still have so much to do. Obviously by choice.
Episodes out by the time.
How many?
50.
50?
Yeah.
By the end of the year?
Yeah.
Damn, girl, that's a lot of talking. No, I'm just joking. Look, you saw me, I was 50?
I know, you looked at me, you're no, man.
It's doable. It's doable.
I'm thinking between 30 and 50. I feel like that's a doable number. I feel like that's achievable. I don't want to hit an unrealistic number, but also I don't want us to sit there and be we didn't do enough.
Right.
I think if we do a good 5 to 6 a month, we'll be great. We talk about goal setting a lot, you guys. This is what we do off air too. We talk about
This is our conversation on a daily. If it's not about what our life.
we need to
Say what?
I said I feel like we need to let them in on some of these conversations.
Oh yeah, no,
I
definitely.
asked you, like, what do you think? What's on your mind? Let's talk about that. Outside of the things that are going on personally that we're not talking about.
I think like right now what's on my mind is just like,
you're in a growth period right now, dude.
Yeah, it hurts, y'all. Like, I don't know, it just hurts. Like, it's a good hurt, don't get me wrong, but like when you're growing and you're willing to grow, no matter what, even if it's good or something that you want, it is going to hurt. Basically like reincarnating yourself, you know what I mean? Because you're allowing the old ways to go and new, just be a greater idea than what you could ever imagine.
That's the thing too. Like, so many people want to sit there and be like, growth, what is that? And then so many people want to sit there and be like, let's talk about it, because it is something so extraordinary and something so beautiful at the same time, but it's exhausting.
It is so exhausting.
The most
emotionally, mentally, even physically, like.
But it's also so great. Like, I'm making you.
It's rewarding.
It's rewarding, 100%. I think too, like, we're also in this space where we're jumping into so many new things. There's this element of like let's talk about the whole feeling forward thing. Failing is the best thing you can ever do in learning, but also it's the worst thing for someone with anxiety. Like, and I think for ADHD too, where it's just like you're all over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place. Some podcasts too, I think like it's definitely been great, but I think for us, we're both figuring out our way, not only just in this world, because I've been in entertainment for a while, but like for you, this is something you've never done.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't like putting myself out there like this. So
no, that's not. We are very private people. Let's be clear, but like this is something we wanted to do to help other people. We talked about off air, but like the TikTok or the reel, we'll put it up like the audio later. Have you ever been in that place where you're silently happy, healing, and hurting? Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those three things. I feel like that's a good topic to talk about.
That is a very good topic because.
Go ahead.
I'll let you start. No, I'll let you start off with it, but that is a good topic.
You go off on it first. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I need like a pen. Hold on. Let me grab a pen real quick. Sometimes I have to like write it as I'm talking.
That is actually a really good thing to say, because while he's grabbing that, so we are we like to write things out.
Correct.
Sometimes we go into this plan, and sometimes like today, that's lightning, y'all. You'll see it. Well, real quick. Storms give me anxiety because we haven't really talked about my situation at all.
With the storm.
You hear that? But let me give you guys a quick synopsis. So I have some hearing impairment. Storms give me anxiety because, say, like, we're in severe weather season. So for people who might be watching 6 months down the line, we won't be, but we're in the Midwest. So I get nervous if there's a storm happening because I don't hear the rain. I feel the thunder. I don't hear the rain. So if there's a severe storm or something crazy or a possible tornado situation, I'm thankful I have people I can call, but also like I have to be on alert because I don't hear a lot of that stuff.
Right.
It's a fun time for me. Happy, hurting, and feeling. What are your thoughts on that? And then we'll go into my thoughts.
It's like crazy. It's a lot of emotion. Like, but once you start accepting all those emotions and understanding the different feelings between them, beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Because, for instance, you're hurting from a situation, but you're obviously ready to move on to the next chapter of your life. So that means that you're letting go of that hurt. So then you go into the healing stage. You know what I mean? And the healing stage is always like an in-between thing where it can be bad or good. It can go up. It's a lot of up and downs.
Yeah.
But at the end result is to be happy. You know what I mean? Is to feel happy, is to feel that contentment from going through all of those stages. You know what I mean? People don't feel to realize sometimes you're going to be going through that for a while, maybe more than others, depending on like your situation or what you have gone through.
Yeah.
But it's very big. Like for right now, I'm healing, hurting, and happy, and that's how I'm thriving. People are like, what? Like, some people don't understand. You don't have to be just one emotion or one thing. I read this thing the other day about laws and stuff like that. It was like the karma laws or whatever. And it was just like, actually, I want to pull it up. It was like really big.
I want to hear this because I've never heard this.
Like, you say?
I say I agree with what you're saying in terms of like, these are emotions, but they're also feelings, but also like because I stumbled upon the audio.
Process.
It's a process, and people don't talk about that. Like, and it happens almost in every stage of your life. Like, in every time you get ready to, it's almost like what they would refer to as like midlife crisis of like, you feel like your life is crazy, everything's whatever, are you not meeting the standard, etc. But when you can sit there and say, am I happy, am I hurting, or am I healing, or even all three, and be able to be honest with yourself and say those things, it's the most rewarding thing. But you have to get to that place of acceptance that is the time frame that you're in. When I heard that, I was like, oh, that never resonated more with me, I don't think, in any other thing before. But also, I think when you're doing that, again, you have to be honest with that. That is a process. That stage of the happy, hurting, and healing the most.
Right.
Because you got to get so real with you. And I think like the last few episodes, you have talked about you are in this stage of like being able to have the space to sit down with yourself. You've never really,
a lot of people are angry. I don't know if I want to use the word angry, but probably upset with me because I am going through those stages and I've never processed those feelings. So it's weird to me. When I first started, I allowed people into my circle around me, stuff like that. But for instance, like I'm gonna lash. Those feelings will make me feel type of way, and it might come out towards you, but it's not towards you. You know what I mean? It's just a feeling that That's where I'm going through the healing part of feeling that angry, feeling that sadness, or whatever the emotion is that I'm feeling. You know, to get to that healing part. And
right.
It was hard for me to understand at first, but sometimes that's why you got to separate yourself when you're going through things like that. I'm so mad I cannot find this, but it was like really like dead on.
I know this. I want to hear it. That was great.
And I'm trying to think who shared it the other day.
Right. Because sometimes, you know, it's like happiness is not always what happiness is. It's not always like excitement or like, haha, hee hee. Like, no. Happiness sometimes is being able to sit in your own space by yourself with no one else. Or happiness is being able to know that you have a roof over your head, your bills are paid, and all of that.
Right. Happiness can be created from a lot of things.
Correct.
The definition of happy is like basically like feeling or showing pleasure or contentment. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I always like using the word content. I don't like using the word happy because like that's what I literally socialize happy with is like, hi, hee, hee, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we think that it really is, but like it's really content. You know, it's contentment. I don't know. I like that word better than happy, I guess.
I agree. I feel like that's the thing I'm feeling today. Today's been one of the harder days I've had, if we're being honest and real on this podcast. But it's one of those days too where I'm happy in the sense of I feel contentment knowing that everything's gonna be okay and that life is gonna continue on. Like obviously we can choose to lay down and be like, I'm gonna go to bed, I'm done for the day. No. We gotta handle this and keep
to.
Yeah. So I think being able to get to that place of peace and content but in the same vein, making that new form of happy is a great thing. That's really great to say, D. He has knowledge sometimes, and so do I, obviously. But like sometimes, most times, we both come with words and we're like, oh shoot, that hurt a little bit. But I love it.
It's like crazy when you start. We are very smart, but when you start vocalizing to somebody else and like being off, like you even surprise yourself sometimes. Be like, I've been thinking it like this, but now that I've actually put it in words, it brings a whole different meaning to you. That's why it's really important to say your affirmations daily so that you get that full fulfillment.
That's so true.
I'm gonna find it when I'm laying in bed. Like if I don't find it right now, I'm gonna lay in bed and literally like go through all this guy's pictures.
I want you to send it to me. What we can do, we can post it on our Instagram. If you guys haven't yet, go follow Unraveled. It's in the description down below. Speaking of, so the happiness part. So what about the hurting part? What do we want to talk about that?
I would say like hurting can be from a lot of things. Like for me, my hurting journey, not really like too specific, but my hurting, letting things go that I've held on for so long, that kind of hurts. You know what I mean? Like there's no
holding grudges.
Like for instance, for like people that have been in my life, like there's no grudges with them or nothing like that. It's just like I know that this is where our expiration date is now. Our expiration date is up.
Yep.
So now, like, we're no longer gonna grow. We're no longer going on with life with things that I've got going on, and vice versa.
Yep.
So I have to let go, but that hurts. You know what I mean? Because with that, I love you. I want to be there for you. I want to support you, and I always have that open door to some of these people. Like, hey, if you ever need something, I'm just a call away. But at the same time, I can't be. You might be a party or something like that, and I might be working at the office and having a kid or something like that. You know what I mean? There has to be some type of understanding that I can't be your.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't be your go-to person because that's not my lifestyle, you know?
Right.
Respectfully. I'm here for you though.
Absolutely. Literally. That's the one thing I think too, like hurting is something too that comes in different forms, different waves, but you have to be willing to say no. and be willing to say, I can't right now, but I'm still here. Or I can't right now for myself because I know that if I get distracted, I won't be able to achieve this, right? So it's being able to, like, today had a rough day, whatever, and then I'm getting my getting my stuff together, doing my makeup so I can film because I'm, that's my job. Outside of the podcast, it still is my job too. But after this, I'm going to be filming for 4 hours. And so I was like, I can't let this define this. Am I hurting? Yeah. Am I sad? Probably. Am I frustrated? Yeah. But also, what is that going to do for me? Nothing. You can't expend yourself for everybody too. So like you said, it's the expiration date even with yourself. And saying like, nope, okay, done. And then start over.
Done with this emotion or this day. You know what I mean? Like I still got 13 hours left of the day. I'm not going to be sad. That actually was... That was like one of my biggest things that I had to learn. I did go through a lot of things that made me sad, but
we all have.
Like when I was younger, so much so, like, I didn't know how to deal with the things, but like, I remember like being sad about a lot of things, like constantly. I was like constantly in the state of being sad, and like they would consider that being depression, but honestly, it was just like this is a sad moment. And now I'm thinking about this person all the time, but I had to get over that though by some shape or form and be like, okay, this is a sad moment, but now I must go on. You know what I mean? And that's where my healing started happening. You know what I mean? Like it started with my hurt, which was my emotion of sad, and then I went into my healing phase by accepting it and grieving it, whatever I needed to do through my healing stage to find my contentment. You know what I mean? Like
I like that. I think that shows growth in itself too. Like if we can unravel all of that stuff get to that contentment, doing good. I think that's a huge part of it. And in this podcast, we talk about a lot of that, but also we don't talk enough about the process of what that looks like. So for you, Dee, probably girl guy, differences in how we both handle things. We are very different how we handle things, but also we are very vocal people. And so, like, we want people to get an issue.
Especially for, like, our sex. Like, it's crazy that sex brings, like not actual sex, like sex brings a big, plays a big part in people's healing process, hurting process, and finding contentment, because society has formed us to feel like, for men, I shouldn't be crying. I shouldn't be sad. I have to go work and go do this, do that, do that. To where a girl... to where a girl, you guys are allowed to be emotional and you guys are a mess or whatever the society says about you guys in your guys' term or whatever, but it's not true. You know what I mean? Like everyone should be able to define what they need to do for them to make this process easy for them. You know what I mean? Like that's very key. That's key.
It's not lying. That's the one thing I compliment you a lot on. The simple fact of you are very emotional, but in a great way. Like you are not afraid to share your emotions.
I was raised with all females.
I know.
So like, but it's kind of crazy though, because even the females weren't as, but the females weren't even as emotional as I am. If anything, the females around me, they were angry. They were just strong women. You know what I mean? So like, therefore, like they didn't have time to cry and stuff like that. And I'm over here crying for them and stuff like, oh my God, like I can't believe they're going through this. So I think I felt their pain that they weren't able to express. You know what I mean? But that also opened up a door for me. That opened up a door for me not to hold things in. Like, everyone, they'll always be concerned about me, but I'm processing this. I'm going through pain. Like, whatever I have to do, I'm going through it because I've been through it before. And I'm learning how to do better with the situation. You know what I mean? Like, every time you level up.
So frustrating with life. Not frustrating. It is frustrating with the whole gender thing because I'm like, I have all girl siblings as well, and just like a female, and I work in part of my jobs. I work in a female dominated industry, and the other half is like I have guy friends, and all guy friends specifically to break that balance and make it work. But it's interesting because some of my guy friends are emotional, and some of them hate being emotional. Like they feel like they are in masculine, and they are not. If they say I'm having a bad day, and I'm like, why do you feel this way? I'm like, well, I was raised to be this certain way. And I said, okay, well, like, that doesn't mean you can't still validate or tell me how you're feeling or why you're hurting or why you're happy. Tell us.
We have that right.
It's so crazy. Like you said, it is that double standard. Where's that allowance for you to have?
Right. And also like a big factor of it is like once you start doing it, you start to realize how it feels you and how it can like just elevate your life in general. Like, that's one thing I would say. Like, I didn't like. I mean, I used to be mad at myself for crying about a lot of situations, but at some point, I started feeling better. One of my family members always just told me, they're like, "You let things go too fast." But I'd be like, "No, I went through my emotions. Like, I didn't share that with you, but I went through my emotions and stuff with it, and now heard it. I'm healing, and now I'm content. Simple. You know what I mean? I didn't sit in the emotion and be angry about it or hold it in on my chest. So then I'm mind boggled and in a stuck position. Like, I got things to do.
Right.
Cry it out. Keep it moving.
Well, literally, but that's the thing. And I think that's what's so grand about both of us, for me too, because I'm someone where I'm like, let's get the issue, get it done, talk it out, and keep it moving. Not to say I'm dismissing anything at all, but it's like, I handle my business. We handle this. So like, a lot of my guy friends will come to me, they want to talk because they're hurting, and they're, there are things, because that is a safe place, because they know I'm not going to judge them. They know I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, like, how dare you have emotion? No, like, and it's not that I'm putting their business out there. That's a genuine thing among guys.
That's the situation.
They are so scared to say I'm hurting, or like, but yet they'll tell their wife something to some degree. But there is that trust within that, just to know that your wife is not going to tell you, or your partner is not going to tell the other person or anybody else that business. But we need to break that stigma. That's what this podcast is all about, unraveling. I'm saying, D, you are allowed to be upset. You are allowed to be tired. You're allowed to be sad. Like
100%.
Where is that compassion in this world? Obviously, there's not a lot of it, but where is it? We can't heal, not only as a gender specific, like female, it goes both ways. So I think that's the one thing too. Like, I feel like for the happy hurting, and I like how you say contentment. I like that a lot better. But the hurting, healing, and then the contentment, and we're flipping the order, because I agree that I feel like that should be more looked at first, when you can look at why is the hurt, where is it stemming from, communicate that, and then heal through that, and then find that contentment. I guarantee you guys, if you find that peace and contentment, that feeling, you will want it all the time.
When you feel the first time, when you feel your first contentment, boy, it's addicting. And then at the same point, that allows, like, people don't understand, it's so important to go through this process, because, for instance, for people that have anxiety, that have like lose their breath, or they have that stomach pain, or whatever, you will be able to manage that better if you understand what's going to come after the fact. You know what I mean? I learned that so much. Like, I used to have to lay on the couch or whatever with a pillow over my stomach, because it's like having all this anxiety. But I know that as soon as it's gone, I'm going to feel contentment. It's just something that I'm uncomfortable. I'm going through a situation that's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
But I'm growing through it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going through it to get to it.
That's the thing. Like, I was just doing my makeup. Yes, I do my own makeup. I'll send post photos later. But it's funny, because I was listening to music, and I was like, because I had the worst anxiety, but I was like, I need to feel these things. I need to sit in this, and I need to do this. And then I'm fine now. I'm at peace with it. I'm good. It's a new day. We're fine. Life is great. And
I will tell you, people, like, this is not to cut you off, but this is a natural thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't force it or nothing like that. Like she said, she sat in it, allowed it to happen, and then that's where the work starts happening. Because once you start feeling this, and you're like, what is this feeling, or why am I feeling this? What happened today to spark this anxiety? Like, that's the work that you're putting in. You can't force yourself to hurt. You can't force yourself to heal. You can't force yourself to be content, because it's your energy.
Place, like you said, so
rather it's journaling. Like, for me, if it's journaling or therapy or talking to a good friend that is understanding of your situation or stuff like that, like, those are keys to, like, unravel. You know what I mean? To let your mind think. We are smart, but sometimes we need that extra input to like that healing process.
Like, that's the one thing I think too. Like, we need to talk about more of those systems that help us. They don't hurt us. They help us, and they're free. Like journaling, writing stuff down, like, or even writing out your ideas for your day. Like, those things that help you keep aligned with your goals and the things you want to do for the day. Like, when you want to talk to somebody, we talk about Jay Shetty off air all the time. But remember when I showed you not only like about how he thinks an ideal 7 days is spent, but like there's this one thing he said, what was it? But it was the basis of it was the simple fact that, like, when you can sit down and really like work on yourself, and no one's going to see it, no one's going to understand it. But when you do that, it's going to make sense. Like, it's not going to be perfect, because everyone's idea of how to heal and how to do things. Because I learned, for me, the best way to fix a problem is to write it out and then give a letter to somebody. And what I found is the most intimidating. Like, I've had friends come back to me who I may have given a letter to, one of like our mutual friends. I'll give like this example. I'll give different names really quick. But I had an argument with one of my guy friends. At the time, he was like a trainer of mine for mental health and all this. He taught me a lot about how the gym connects to mental health. And we just weren't getting along. And I decided to write a letter to someone I literally, our buddy of ours, a friend of ours, he was with him when I gave him the letter. And so he told me like a couple days later, because I quit hearing from him. And our buddy had said that was probably the most humiliating thing, not for him in a negative way, but he had told our buddy, he said, I've never been presented in like a letter of how someone really feels. He said it wasn't that it was evaluating. He said it was something he's never seen before. So it just took him by surprise. And I told him that's my best way to communicate. And I've always done that. And I didn't realize for men that was so like, that was a healthy way of communicating, but for men that becomes intimidating because you are telling the truth in that letter.
That's why I always feel like I'm not better than anybody, but like I feel like always so like my energy is always so like I don't connect with a lot of people because a lot of people are still going through a lot of their process. I went through a lot of stuff really early, but at the same time, like people are scared to say certain things because that might spark their emotions or whatever. So like people really are limited on their what they say. So I'd be like kind of confused. I'd be like, what are y'all talking about for real? Like I always used to feel so slow, but it's just being able to communicate my feelings. I'm able to justify what is going on and stuff like that to where people are still, we're not doing that. I'm a guy, you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you that I'm sad right now. You're sad. It's okay. Like I understand. Everyone, that's like the autopilot. Everyone wants to be on autopilot nowadays.
We're unraveling in which, like, so I was giving the example of the letter that how I best communicate is writing letters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And like most guys get so intimidated by a lot of men, mostly. Sometimes it's not men that I just give letters to, but that's who most recently in life I've done. And that example that I just gave, like our buddy had said, he was like, he wasn't angry. Like he goes, it was the most complex situation I've seen him in. He was like, I think he was surprised because you don't communicate as we like this side of you no one's ever seen of our friend group at the time. And he was like, I think that's what took him by surprise. But he goes, everything you said, because he told me he had read it. And he goes, everything you said was the most raw and authentic human being that you are. And he goes, I think if anything, it made him appreciate you more, but also it frustrated him because he could not come back and tell you because I heard nothing from him after that letter. Like we quit talking. And like you said, everything has an expiration date. But our buddy, he said, I think it was more like he felt like he can't communicate on that level that you're on. Like it made him realize I am not on this level and I'm a couple years older than her. So I'm gonna kind of run away a little bit. And I was like, thanks for telling me. But also at the same time, he asked me, he's like, is this how you are? I said yes, because I learned from Jay Shetty, like just in general, it made more sense when I heard it from Jay Shetty. That's what we were talking about, is that communication language, everyone has their own way to communicate,
right?
You know, but also yelling at somebody, screaming at somebody, and all this, they're not healthy. But this is a healthy way to communicate. I can write a letter, or like most people want to sit there and write a paragraph or a book in a text, but that doesn't also help. It doesn't.
Right.
It might get some stuff off your chest, definitely, but it's not conveyed in a way maybe a letter might be, and then the conversation after. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I realize like sometimes I've been in relationships with people that aren't as emotionally intelligent as I am. Yeah. And sometimes it was hard for me to understand because I feel like, I don't know, I guess I didn't realize that I went through a lot of stuff in order for me to be here and stuff like that. I didn't accept that. You know, I didn't understand that. I didn't see like, I just feel like everyone has like a concept of emotions and it's kind of like what you want to do with it. But me being an observer, me going through a lot, allowed me to be emotionally ahead of a lot of people and stuff like that. So I used to be like bothered by my ex-wife. Like I used to be like, why are you like, if you're sad or upset about something, like, why are you not telling me? Or like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like instead of you like all balled up, you're being a certain way about the situation instead of communicating it. You know what I mean? And but then I had to feel to understand.
Because to you, and the obvious thing is just tell me how it feels, even if it hurts my feelings. That's just who you are. Whereas somebody else, it's like that's the most scary thing to do, is to be so honest and hurt someone's feelings.
Right. And sometimes, yeah. And you have to just take into context though, too, like, is what I'm doing affecting emotion for you? And if that's the case, that's what you communicate. You don't just tell me, oh, whatever the situation is, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, damn, that does kind of hurt because you're not really telling me you're not telling me for a reason. I feel like you're really telling me to hurt me. You know what I mean? That's what I pick up from it.
Yeah, the perception of it. Yeah.
Like that's where they'd be like, hurt people. You know what I mean? Like that's really big right there.
And that's the part of it. I think too, like we have gone through some stuff, and I wouldn't change what we've gone through. Some stuff, yes, we would for sure. But also, we wouldn't be who we are today without it. Like, we are unraveling a lot of things each time that we talk. And I love that we come to this table, quote unquote, and we come to this like Zoom meeting every time with so much vulnerability on both sides and laughter and fun. And also being like, we're so stupid. Like, sometimes we do say that. We're like, we're dumb.
You just got, you just think about the situation and stuff like that. Like, it's just
in life. Like, we're not perfect.
Yeah, this part of my life right now is called acceptance. You know what I mean? I'm accepting a lot of things that I've never accepted. So I'm okay. You know what I mean? And like, I know like you can't always know everything. You know what I mean? That's why you have to be willing to grow and stuff like that. You have to be willing to.
I think you don't have to know everything. I think that's the thing in the healing process, when you can sit there and say, I don't know this, or I didn't know that this took this to get here, right? And then you're able to say, okay, cool, now I know, and I learned so much through it. Because for so long, I thought about this the other day. I was talking to one of my guy friends. I kind of talked to you about it after the fact, just because I was thinking about it. You and I are on a different level that I know you would understand it. And I was like, what was it? What did I say? We were talking about something, but then I told him, I said, I feel like growing up, I was never allowed to say what I needed to say to fix a situation. I had to just say things in a certain way so it would dead an issue. Right? Of that narcissistic or that negative human being, where instead it could have been, hey, I understand what you're saying. I need a minute to think about, process, and then feel what I'm feeling so we can have a productive result out of this.
Right.
That's what I love about this podcast, because it's like we are taking what we've learned and are putting it into the conversation and in life. Because now moving forward, I make it a very clear issue of, I'm not going to respond to this right now, or I am not going to talk about it right now until I'm ready to. And when I'm ready, I will take ownership in saying, hey, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you for this amount of time. And I know that may not make it better, but at least I can take accountability in saying that that's just how I deal with things, So I feel like that hurting, healing, and contentment goes into that. Like you said, you're like, I'm going to write some stuff down. So like, what were some of the things you're writing down right now?
I just had to write those words out, to be honest, which was just like healing, hurting, and happy, just to like see them in my face.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I like with my ADHD, I talk, and then sometimes I talk so much that I can't go back to what my main idea was. You know what I mean? Like, so writing stuff down for me, like, and that's what I've been doing even at work. Like, I'll put stuff in my phone to remember to go back. Like, I'm also like a person. Of notes
for even the podcast.
Yeah, I'm like a person that for so long I've been on autopilot.
Yeah.
But now, like, I'm having to, like, if I want to be precise and I want to be, good at the things that I do and stuff like that, then I need to start paying attention, writing them down, checking what I'm doing to make sure I'm like doing. Sometimes I used to do like a lot of busy work for no reason, and I don't like that because you're exhausted by doing a whole bunch of random things.
It's just like we talked about the other day. Wasn't that yesterday, the day before? Like, and when this comes out, it'll be a little later, a couple weeks, but like, did I not tell you? I was like, I've been looking at social media, and sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? And then I'll go back and look 5 minutes later, and it hasn't changed. And it's like, why am I? But yes, it's my job, but also at the same time, I'm like, this was 5 minutes ago. What the hell am I doing?
Right.
Like, I can go and be productive in society or go and do something for me, but like, what am I doing? This is a waste of my time.
That's why I always take breaks from social media, because like, social media will have you delusional outright. You know what I mean? Unless you know you have to know your intention, everything that you do. When people need to realize that, like, that's even going into a relationship, going into social media, texting somebody, you know what I mean? Like, know your intention when you're doing those things, because if not, you get caught up into a world that's not even a world that you try to do. It just, you just got to have intention with it.
It's that hard line too of like, we get caught up in trying to create this like, Kaylani said it one time, and it's so true. She was like, I'm not trying to be, what did she say? It was so profoundly I'm not trying. So she did this interview with Angie Martinez. She's amazing. And I love her. She's so real too in her interviews. But she told Kaylani, she goes, you are a role model. And then Kaylani goes, I'm not trying to be a role model. I'm trying to be a real model, like REAL. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that is so perfect. She's like, Instagram is so much of like this reel and the highlights of your life, but when you dwindle it down, she's like, I have no time to hide my life. She's like, there's no point. She goes, if I'm going to be a model, I'm going to be a real version of myself. Like, I don't need to edit anything. Like, of course, we might want to edit how we look or how we feel, whatever, sometimes in what we say, understandably.
Right.
But also, she's like, I didn't get here to the success level at the time of that interview. She's like, I didn't get here by that. I got here by being honest. Like, Nick Cannon was the one who believed in her and was the one who helped her. And he was like, you got something here. And I'm willing to invest in you. But she was honest.
I know. They used to I remember one of the big questions. It's crazy, but I think it was like in third grade, and they asked one of the questions like, who's your superhero? Yeah. And everyone's like writing literally like Batman, Superman, or, some type of actor, whatever. I literally wrote my mom. And I remember after her saying it, I felt so corny, but then I remember why I wrote my mom, and I wrote it because of her strength. You know what I mean? My mom showed physical strength, not just they didn't just perceive it in a movie or something like that. You know what I mean? Unrealistic things. I seen strength in my mom, and I was like, that's superhero power. You know what I mean? Something realistic, because I feel like a lot of people get delusional because they see everyone out here. People have money and make things perceived it's going a certain way.
It's not talked about,
and it's not realistic. Not saying they can't have it or whatever, but that's not a realistic something to look up. That person worked their ass off to get there to that moment,
right?
And now you are basing your whole life off of that character, that person, or the person that she's trying to be on Instagram for everybody.
And that's the thing, when you can start, and there's a transitional period in that, not only in healing, but in unraveling. We've been unraveling all of these great things. I love this conversation. Awesome. I'm also sitting here thinking, this is so cool to see. Like you said, that's a great reference to say. So many kids nowadays who are looking up different Logan Paul and different people and and it's also they're forgetting too, a lot of these kids made mistakes, right? A lot of these actors are superhero. When you can put who's your hero to a realistic level, it adds more emphasis on who you want to become.
Right.
And it doesn't mean, we're not saying if you put Spider-Man as your hero, we're not saying you can't be Spider-Man. We're saying you can be an actor and you can do all these things, but let's be clear, it just may not be Spider-Man specifically.
Yeah, and you have to realize people always want someone's life. People always want someone's life, but you got to realize what that person went through in order to get to where they're at. You know what I mean?
What is that quote you said a couple of episodes ago?
That's why they are who they are. And that's cool. But I always say you have to go through it in order to get to it. That's always been my biggest thing. That has helped me get through so many stages of my life. For me to be. Sometimes, that's kind of my acceptance quote, to be honest. You know what I mean? I know this sucks. I know this hurts.
Sometimes too, you're like, baby, we got to get through to go through it. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Amen. For real. You just have to. That's just part of life.
That's accountability, and you're not wrong. That is so true. My favorite quote, we've talked about this in past episodes, but it's she believes she could, so she is. Somebody had said, they were in my office a couple days ago, because we are very private people. We don't really say too many names, but somebody was in my office, and they were like, wait, she believes she could, so she did. And I was like, no, she believes she could, so she is, present tense right now. And they were like, oh, I like that. And I was like, yeah. So let's start changing a lot of the past tense quotes to present tense, because it makes more sense for us to evolve and grow. And that's
because some of these statements are not pertaining to what we're doing now. You know what I mean? Honestly, some of the statements are after you've already hit what you needed, hit your goal, stuff like that. So I like that. That's pretty dope.
That's right. I thought that was cool, because I didn't think about it until that person stopped and said, wait a second. Huh? And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for pointing out to me, because I wasn't even thinking that's my motto. That's what I do. And so it's nice to hear that. So in lieu of this conversation of the happy, hurting, or I'm trying to flip it. Well, again, habits here. First of all, you're looking amazing. You're glowing. You're loving life. How's that tea, by the way?
Oh, it was really good. I felt detox. But I would say the order of those words or whatever, I would say
it should be switched for sure.
I feel it should to sound better, it should be switched, but I feel it should be hurting, killing, happy, because that's the process. If you think about it, you have to hurt in order to heal, and you have to heal in order to feel content. You know what I mean? That's how I feel it should be. And I like that.
I like that so much more. That'll be the title of the podcast. this episode at least. We've unraveled so much today. So how do you feel, D? I know you're always asking me, but I'll ask you.
I feel good. Like I've had a very long day, so I feel exhausted already. But like having this conversation, I
Yeah.
hope this like really like helps somebody, and like it even helped me. Like even talking about it, even though I've gone through it, it's helped me and made me put like some more key pointers in my life. But I hope people are able to break down their processing a little bit more,
Yeah.
not so much into depth, something so much more simpler, and allow them to be able to process the situation a lot more better, you know, because when I first started going through this, I'm gonna let you know right now, I wanted to heal so bad. So I was doing whatever I needed to heal, whether it was
We've done
going on
everything.
a
We'll talk about
going
it
on a
one day.
trip,
Yeah.
doing skin stuff, you know what I mean? Like I was doing all
Talk
types
about
of
it one
stuff.
day. It's a lot of
Yeah.
things we can't talk about right
Yeah.
now, but we'll talk about it one day.
But like no, I would never even talk about it because like my healing process looks different than everybody else's.
Got
But
it. Yeah.
that's what people have to start to realize. It's not about what you're doing or nothing like that. It is literally just a process that your body is gonna go through when you're ready for it. So sitting in an
But
emotion.
you have to be willing to, when it hits you, to be there for it 100%
Right.
invested.
Talk to your people. You know, that's the most important thing. Talk to your people, whoever you believe in
And
or
create
whoever you look up to.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Create your good circle. I'm so glad. So
how are you feeling?
I'm like you, I'm tired, but also it's all for the right reasons. I feel like everything's kind of happening how it's supposed to happen.
Right.
I think if anything, it's so cool because this podcast, like I feel like we're getting more deep within things, but we're also being ourselves, and we're trying to create this relatable audience of like, oh, I can relate to them in some way.
Right.
So I feel better than I did before I came on. Like I said, I was doing my makeup and listening to music, and now I'm like, okay, I'm at peace again, which is good.
Right.
Really, if anything, too, and I told you this before, and even last night, but like I am really grateful, not just for you, but for the circle I have, because we can be so honest and so real.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment, but there's only like realness in saying the things that need to be heard. And
Right.
that's beautiful in itself. So again, like, yes, we are on this new journey together, but dude, at the end of the day, like, your family, and I am so grateful for you no matter what.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely grateful for you. Like I was let you know, like I don't put nobody in the line of my life that I'm not going to be grateful for, someone that's not going to teach me how to grow and stuff like that, because life is short to have dead people by you. You know what I mean? Dead plants.
Well,
Like
that's
I'm a
why I'm
flower.
so like big on giving flowers to people now.
Yeah, I'm a root right now, and I'm trying to bloom. So whoever is not trying to help me bloom, get out of my way, get out of my circle. You know,
Right.
can't be tainted right now, please.
Oh, and too, it's like if you can't handle the lifestyle that I'm creating, like, then bye.
Yeah, and we're right now at the age where we're like transforming into a next chapter of our life,
Yep.
and it takes a lot, you know, and it takes a lot of understanding from your friends and your family to realize that.
Yep.
So sometimes it does get lonely, you know, but you have to be willing to put the work in and the effort in to get that lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see where we're at, like when we get to the end of the year.
I know the end of the year is going to be like a shocker to me. I'm gonna be like, wow.
How did we? Who were we?
Right. No,
Oh,
literally.
my goodness. Well, I love you so much per usual.
I know. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
And guys, please make sure you like this video. Comment down below what you guys thought about this video. And also comment anything you guys feel like we should talk about of unraveling. And
yes, please give us ideas and topics.
ideas. We have ideas, but we need ideas. We're open to anything.
Yeah. And if you guys have like key things, like questions that you want to ask on a topic or whatever, like just ask us. Like, there's like
us? Yeah.
People can ask questions, and it can go for any topic. So just ask questions, you know, comment, whatever you feel like you need to do. Like I love answering questions because I always have a spin on everything. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm right. This is you got to realize these are our opinions and things that we have experienced that we're putting out there to hopefully help people.
Yeah.
But I love putting a spin on things or my twist on things, and you know, conversing with people, like real like-minded people. So
for sure. Our Instagram too. Feel free to comment on that too. We will be peeping that out too. You never know. We might go live at some point. I think we might do that around our 10 episode area.
That'll be fun.
But y'all, we really do love you. We are really grateful for everyone, each and every one of you who continue to watch us, listen to us, and just go along with us on this new journey that we are doing. Because I tell y'all, when we jumped off this cliff, we were scared, but we're getting better and better each time. So Thank you so much for watching Unraveled with us and listening to Unraveled Ties with Lindsey and
DeAndre, hello.
Right? We're still getting used to this. We'll get there one day. But we'll see you guys soon.